I want to give you a brief overview of what to do for your milestone 1. So first you want to go back into our discussion from module 1 and make sure that your articles are approved. There's still a few of you who don't have 5 approved articles. So first make sure that your articles are approved because you don't want to waste your time working on milestone 1 if they're not. I've also sent you an email if they're not approved, so you can look there too. When you're doing your milestone 1 is a draft of the introduction. So let me just show you that this is the rubric for milestone 1. So you're giving this overview of your topic. Basically what you're doing is you're making your introduction look like the introductions in all the articles that you're reading. So if your articles are approved, it means that they've come from a peer-reviewed source. So I've just pulled up a few articles. It doesn't want to scroll. I've pulled up a few articles and I just want to show you that if you are talking about an article that's an APA style, then it always starts with an overview of past research. So it should look like any of the articles that you're reading. Here's another one. So anytime that you're reading an article, it always has the same structure. So you can read any of the articles that you've chosen, like that were approved, and read the introduction section for how your introduction should look. Here's another article. I've just chosen any articles. It doesn't matter which ones you're talking about because if they're in APA style, they all have the same structure. So it just gives you an overview of what's happened in the past. Some of them separate out by specific sections. I don't think that any of yours will be so long or so complex that you need to have these separate sections. So yours will probably just look more like this, where it's just one introduction. And you're describing, like I would think about this as each paragraph is describing one of your articles that you've chosen and that were approved. So basically what you're doing is you're giving a summary of each article that you've chosen, and at the moment you have 5 of them. But for the final project, for this introduction section, you have to have 10 in all. So you'll continue to add to this. But for milestone 1, you only have to write up 5 of them. So part of writing up this introduction is that you want to say what was missing from each of these articles. Does that make sense? So you want to critically review them. So you want to say, like, maybe they weren't, like maybe they didn't study both genders, or maybe they didn't study all ages, or maybe they didn't, like it wasn't longitudinal, so they didn't follow them through, like throughout their lives or something. So for each article, you're saying a summary of what happened, and then you're saying what was missing from that article. And then at the end of your introduction, that's where you'll say what you're going to do. So identifying the specific problem or research question to be explored and the underlying thesis. So that's what you're doing. And I just want to point out that if you're looking at the final project, so this is the final project rubric, and I want to show you that what you're doing now goes with this one. You're doing critical element number 2. So you're talking about presenting the findings of other peer-reviewed research, and you're demonstrating your ability to incorporate your perspective into the research that's already present. So you're reviewing the past research, and then you're saying how your research is going to take the next step. And then I will provide you with this link in my announcement, but I like this paper because it just gives you an idea of what you're looking for. So it's saying some information about what should happen in your introduction section. Like, see, the last section of the introduction states the purpose of the research. So I'll give you this link as well. So you're summarizing those 5 articles. Unless you have found more, feel free to put in more if you just want to make your life easier in the long run, because eventually you have to have 10 of them. So you're summarizing the 10 articles or 5 articles, and you are saying what the limitations were of each article. And then in the last paragraph, you're saying what your research will be. And that's really about it. So let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you have a good week.